everyone. This is Korath Landwalker, and this afternoon we have another exciting experience in store for Star Citizen. Hey, Legend Eternal, how is life treating you today on your side of the monitor? Hope things are going well. As you can see, I am basically the Stig today. They say he was the one who made Grim Hex abandoned, and he single-handedly stopped the Javelin and Xenothreat. All we know is he's called the Stig. Okay, well, maybe not. As you may have guessed by the title of my stream today, 3.14 did not land. Boo. Doing well, excellent. That's always good news to hear. Sadly, 3.14 remains on the public test universe. It is apparently still not quite ready for prime time. I find that distressing, slightly. But on the other hand, if they fix the ongoing bugs that are still in their known issue list, I'm all for it. There's every probability, though, that we will be seeing 3.14 land sometime in the coming week. And now that I've said this publicly on stream, I'd better be right. Otherwise, it's going to get very embarrassing very quickly. Well, at least quickly enough to happen by the next stream. I expect the next stream will be filled with tours of Orison and checking out the new dogfighting combat style and all that good stuff. But since, the 15th prediction didn't pan out, no kidding. I was really expecting it to land in mid-July, and that was a couple weeks ago, so clearly prognostication is not my vocation. How was that for a little bit of wordplay? Sometimes I amaze myself. That's not as hard as it sounds. In any event, because 3.14 is not here, and because I'd kind of been counting on 3.14 being here, I find myself in the odd situation of not really having a good idea. Words too big. Don't feel bad. It could be worse. I could also be throwing in math. I was told there would be no math. But, today, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, so I'm going to try something really wacky here and throw the choice up to the viewership. Let's see if this works. No, it does not. Stupid Twitch polls. Try to make the Twitch poll work, and what does it do? It hoses me. Okay, let's try this again. Now I went through all the effort of getting this thing prepared in advance, and what happens? It doesn't work. Well, luckily I can type reasonably quickly. Now, if this doesn't work again, then I'm going to say, the hell with this, and let's kind of wing it. Service error. Okay, fine. I gave Twitch the opportunity to do this easily. Looks like it's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to make do with crazier ideas. In other words, I'm going to have to make a decision on my own. Brrr. Stupid Twitch polls. Try to use their interfaces, and what do they do to me? Rude. Very rude. Well, there's one more thing I can try. I think that I might have the capability of doing this on the Streamlabs application. So I'm going to see if I can make that work on here. That's right, everybody. We're going to go into mad science here. Be afraid. Polls. Okay. Okay, you know what? Trying to do this on spur of the moment just isn't going to happen because this looks complicated. Yeah, heck with this. Okay, well, what ship to grab then? Let's get some of that shit out of the way so I can read everything clearly. And since I've been standing here for an extended period of time, it's probably going to back me off if I don't do it myself. So, I have a bunch of ships to fiddle around with. Choices, choices. I could go bounty hunting. This may be the last time I can do some legitimate, exciting bounty hunting, I should say. Because the combat system is going to undergo some major revamps with the next patch, and a lot of the equipment is going to standardize to create a new baseline for the developers to refine. So all the sophistication we have now is about to go out the window. So I am kind of put in mind of doing that. So if I want to go dogfighting, I have a small selection of ships to go with here. Let's break out the Origin 325 Alpha. There's a lot of ships that I don't fly very often, and occasionally I feel the need to fly them to remind myself that they are there. Taking a look at the essential statistics, otherwise known as Korth is trying to make sure that he didn't pick a ship that has absolutely nothing worth using as ammunition. Has 2 missile racks. Not sure what I have on them right now. I have arresters and dominators. Some of them are size 3, some of them are size 2, so I have a decent variety of missile weapons. I am using shredder repeaters. I don't know if they're ballistic or energy offhand. And an M6A cannon. And what this is doing for me is telling me that maybe, just maybe, I should have probably stored the ship and done some weapon swapping. So why don't I store the ship? That way I can get a better handle as to what kind of weaponry to throw on there. Once it's stored, I should be able to edit it. You can't edit it when you have it sitting on the landing pad. You can edit it when it's not. If it's at the location you're at, or if it's kind of in that nebulous location where nothing exists. Alright, back to weaponry. We're not swapping out missile racks. I'm pretty happy with where they're at. Shredder repeater is a ballistic. Okay, I was pretty sure about that. But the nose cannon is not. Actually, the nose cannon is. Thank you, Vehicle Loadout Manager. Make me look bad by not knowing my equipment. It was from bearing. I just automatically assumed it would be ballistic. Okay, okay. Laser cannon, ballistic cannon. Let's try to put them on the same page. What do I have the attrition 3s on? I've got them on my Freelancer Dur. Decisions. So I'm going to do what I always do when I have a big decision and stall. Size 4, size 4. Okay, these are size 3s. These are size 4s. So I'm going to have a mix of sizes no matter what I do. Unless I slap a gimbal mount on here, but I do want the extra firepower. You see, if you throw in a gimbal mount, it gives you that ability of kind of wiggle around. It kind of allows you to use gimbal mode, which is kind of an auto aim, or maybe aim assist is probably better. But the downside is that it drops the weapon slot by a size. So if I put it in a size 4 gimbal mount, the highest size weapon I can slot is size 3. By leaving it as a fixed weapon, I keep it as size 4. It's important to note that, as things stand right now, none of my weapons on this vessel are gimbaled. And I don't plan to. I'm going to yank out the ballistics. I do want to yank out the ballistics, and the reason for that is I don't want to have to worry about coming in and out for ammunition. I do have a couple of Severia light strike cannons. Why don't I have those on my Talon? I must have taken them off at some point. I do things. Gatlings. Sure grip tractor. Where the heck do I have this? 315. I wonder if that's even, that can't even be operational. I'm pretty sure tractor beams aren't even available in the game yet, technically. Yeah, I want to yank the attritions out. Why not? Attrition. Attrition. As far as the nose cannon, yeah, let's grab the attrition repeater for that too, except it'll be an exercise up. So we're definitely locking myself into close combat, which should be easy because this is an interceptor. And if the interceptors can't handle being... Exterior paint couldn't be chosen. Close combat is the kind of thing that the interceptor is for. Get in close, fast, and start hitting people. And pray that nobody kills you off in general. Now the downside is I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to do against larger vessels like the Valkyrie. So that may impact the kind of ship that I go up against. That will impact the size, the kind of bounty I go up against. Clearly, I am not looking to do ERTs on this. Extreme risk targets are just a little bit tough for me in general. And this thing doesn't have anywhere near enough guns. So we are going to have to simply stick with targets that are less than extreme. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do the very high-risk targets, but I am certainly willing to try. I'm going to hold off on picking up any of the bounty targets until I'm on board the ship. Because if I manage to get one of the North Rock group bounties, there will be a timer that starts ticking down. While I'm not in any particular fear of the time running out, I hate to start a bad habit. And so here it is, Origin 325 Alpha. It has the same general design as the other 300 series starships from Origin. It's a very clean-looking ship. Although this particular variant does have the catchy, dark paint job with gold accents. And we're going to hop up front. As soon as I figure out where the heck the ladder is. And climb aboard. Now, Origin Jump Works is known as the luxury vehicle sort of thing. So even their combat interceptors kind of give you that high-class feel. I mean, look, we're in a combat vessel, and we have wine glasses. This tells you exactly how Origin prioritizes things. I don't have any of the fancy stuff in here because this isn't... Well, okay. I could go on and add them on the pledge store to get myself a coffee maker or stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that. That's the kind of thing that I can, deal with when they become available in-game someday in that indeterminate future. And I'm pretty sure that there will be accessories you can buy for these ships in-game. Just not today.
Origin Jump
Now that we've powered everything on, I am currently sitting at 870k UEC, and with any luck, I will be able to increase it a bit today. Or, possibly, one very high-risk target will go for him. And we'll grab, as always, always, call to arms, so that any other targets that happen to show up will at least give me some small bits of cash. And there is my target, around Ita. I am at the Hurston system, which is one of my favorite locations to go, because you can do pretty much anything here.
Launch complete.
Now, you can do a lot of things with Crusader as well, but right now their major landing port is Port Olisar, which has issues. Like the fact that it's just waiting for people to blockade and kill other ships. Everest occasionally has that trouble, but not nearly as often. Besides, hopefully next week, Orison will be available, and we'll be able to go into the city in the clouds. Let's hope, anyway. While I'm quantuming, let's make sure my weapons are keyed up. I like to have them on the same key if I have a good if I don't have a good reason to keep them separate, I like them on the same mouse button. I do use a mouse and keyboard setup, so I'm not nearly as elite a pilot as a number of individuals I could name who use their HOTAS setups or their dual sticks or what have you. I am old and set in my ways. My idea of the a stick is basically the old Atari joysticks. One stick, 8 directions, and a single button. There, that is my stick right there, or at least the kind of stick I've been comfortable with. And don't even get me started on game controllers. I'm afraid the game controller thing came out well after my days of console gaming were past, so I've never really gotten the hang of using that big red button for the win. You bet. Atari aficionado, that's me. I had the Atari when they were being called video game consoles as opposed to the 2600. Same thing, different name. A little higher, a little higher. Don't want to bounce off of rocks. And let's see, it's obviously not a Valkyrie because I would have had a target by now. Probably a Hurricane. And it is a Hurricane. Yep, it's gotten to the point where I can identify these guys based on how close I detect them. Now, the good news about the Hurricane, though, is it's not scary. I mean, it is scary, but it's not as scary as running up against a Valkyrie and an Interceptor. I will probably not be able to do this when 3.14 rolls around because light fighters will theoretically start being chewed up by the heavier boys. So I will have to use bigger ships to handle the VHRTs. At least I'm pretty sure. I am taking some hits. That is good. On the other hand, he's taking worse hits, and that's good. Shields at full strength. I like hearing that. So we seem to have gotten past that bounty pretty easily, and let's see, we do not have any more very high risks, so we're going to go with the standard high risk threat, but we're going to do it as a group, so at least I will be paid better. Of course, it also means I have an excellent chance of invalidating the whole thing if I get killed off, so excitement. Now, attritions are also theoretically capable of doing more damage if they start overheating. To that end, let's see if I can encourage overheating by overclocking them. For an energy weapon, that should help their damage, help the rate of fire, and basically get me closer to melting the guns as I fire them. Okay, technically speaking, they don't actually melt, but I do get constant mission messages saying, your weapons are overheating. Alright, let's zap in. No, clogged throat there. And let's make use of the interception speed by intercepting. We'll close that 28-kilometer gap in no time. In fact, the time it took me to say all this, 24. And I'm hardly at max speed. Oh. Okay, that probably is a Valkyrie. No, it's a Vanguard Warden. I'm surprised. Again, being close is my salvation here. Now, how close I can stay to a Valkyrie, a Warden, is an open question. It's a heavy fighter. It's not the most maneuverable round, but it can maneuver. He's not exactly doing a great job on firing on me, though. Not that I'm complaining. Yeah, there's that overheating message. Because of the overheating, I'm trying to have a little bit more... Oops. He didn't need that wing anyway. Can't blow off his other wing. Oh, I guess technically that blows off his other wing. The thing is, I kind of blew him off too. Oops. Reinforcements have arrived. Ordinarily, I would just run for these guys because, you know, efficiency and money. But, you know, the whole point is to test out the effectiveness of the 325 here in a high-risk bounty setting. So, by all means, let's just rain artillery on them and see what happens. Okay, it's actually rain ordnance on them, but, you know, I never claimed to be a military guy. Next target is a Saber. Well, this guy's not going to last very long if I get some hits on him. Sabers are stealth fighters. They're not exactly built for constant hits on their hull. One target down, 2 to go. There's another one in orbit, so we're going to go after the next one. Now, the downside with all this maneuvering is I have burned down my hydrogen fuel by 20% so far, and climbing. So fuel is one of those things that could become an issue later on. But, you know, that's the whole point behind an interceptor. They're not exactly long-range fighters here. Another Warden. Well, you know, I'm not going to complain. I can take a Warden. It's the Valkyries that worry me. Let's see if I can get some good opening shots on this guy. Stay close. I think he lost another wing. In fact, I think I got both his wings. Yep, both wings gone. Whoop. Yeah, I was spending too much time looking at him, not paying enough attention to the fact that I was going to be hitting him. Well, I think that's going to knock down my reputation a little bit. That was my own fault. Unless I killed the guy at the same time. I did! So the bounty is still live. That could have been ugly, but instead, it didn't go too bad. That means I still have one more target. But the bad news is I need to swap out starships. But first, I'm going to claim the 325 Alpha because, you know, I would like to make sure it's available when I decide to use it again. The nice thing about the R&R stations is it's usually very easy to get from the habitation to the ship retrieval terminals. I'm a big fan of that capability. So, let's see. 325 Alpha claim. Now, there's a couple of the other 300 series is straight luxury or Pathfinder, and I really don't find the need to use either one of those. I'm certainly not using the 125 Alpha. Not on this kind of thing. Could go with the Reliant, but you know what? Let's go with a different ship that I don't fly very often either. The Harbinger. The Harbinger is one of 4 different Vanguard variants. There's the Warden, which is the straight heavy fighter. There is the Hoplite, which acts as a dropship as well as a heavy fighter, so it gives up some of its armament for the ability to carry a number of people to drop off into a combat zone. You've got the Sentinel, which is supposedly the E-Warfare version, but right now it just means that it carries an EMP weapon. And the Harbinger, which loads up on missiles. I like missiles more than I like E-War, so that's why I have the Harbinger in here. Someday I might upgrade out of it. I'm still undecided on that. Maybe if the numbers work out, I'll upgrade it to a Scorpius. But the numbers need to work out. I'm not entirely sure that I will be able to. But that is the future. And we are in now. We're at now, as Colonel Sanders once said. Not that one. We go through the rear ramp for the Vanguard series. No enter the cockpit kind of thing. You go in through the rear. Now they've got a nice little living area here. A couple bunks, a couple slots where you can store gear, or use the bathroom as the case may be. Pretty sure there's a retractable toilet in here. There we go. The throne. And we've got weapons racks. I'm told that all weapon racks will be persistent in 3.14. We'll see. Of course, there are some ships that have weapon racks that you put the weapon in and you will never get them back out again. So, be wary when you do that. And a standard storage locker that I'm hoping will be carrying the personal inventory when the personal inventory system comes in, but I really don't know how that's going to work yet. I don't think anybody really does. And we're gonna hop through this door into the cockpit. Now, one of the other little details about the old Vanguard is that its weaponry is kind of spoken for as far as the nose guns. Oops, I can't do a zoom. Keep forgetting I can't do a zoom that way. There we go. See those quartet of nose guns? Those are, shall we say, proprietary. You can buy scatter guns or repeaters and all that, but they're very Vanguard specific. You have a bit more freedom with the underside gun. But for the nose guns, no, that's it. And as far as the guns are concerned, the guns you see in front are the guns it's got. It doesn't have any wing weapons. Well, let me rephrase that. It doesn't have any winged guns. Now, if you have somebody else flying with you, you can also make use of this turret up here. And I believe that right now, yes, right now I think those are rocket pods. So instead of using guns on this thing, more missiles. Let's pull this out a little bit. Bring up the landing gear. Watch the wings extend. Hopefully my wings will be a little more sturdy than the Vanguards I've been killing. Speaking of those aforementioned weapons, let's take a quick glance at what I'm sporting on board this one. I'm using a C788 cannon for my underside gun, and a CVSA cannon, which I'm reasonably sure is also laser weaponry. So this is not what you would call a fast-firing ship, but it is a hard-hitting ship. I am also carrying a small variety of missiles. Let's be specific, as I swapped my weapons here. I have 15 missiles. More on that momentarily. Let me get my cannons all on the same page. I have a variety of missiles. I've got 2 sets of size 2s, 4 each. I have 3 size 3s, 4 of those. And, best of all, 3 size 5 missiles, which are guaranteed to hurt, but perhaps not kill the bigger ships. And when I say bigger, I'm talking along the lines of, Valkyries. I'm not talking along the lines of hammerheads. Alright. I'm also going to turn off the gimbal for the gun, for the underside gun. And the main reason for that is it's not really doing me any good. In fact, if I were smart, if I had been smart about this, I would have yanked that gun out, yanked out the gimbal, and put on an even larger gun. All I can say is, I wasn't really thinking. Oh, they're all ballistics. Oh, I thought they were all laser. Oh, yeah, this will be a little rougher. That's okay, because ballistic cannons, they hurt. The target, that is, not me. And it seems I can't fiddle with my power menu at all. So in order for that to work, I'm going to have to do something I really don't want to do right now. Turn power off. Turn power on. Hey, if it works with your home computer, it works here. Let's go ahead and go crazy and overclock all my guns. this may or may not be a brilliant idea. Hey, Fiendy, how are you doing this afternoon here? Hope things are well on your end of the monitor. I was hoping that this week the 3.14 patch for the game would land, but unfortunately it's still in the public test universe. So I'm having I'm not going to say a final spin with the combat ships right now, but it's close. Because the combat system it's going to undergo some mutation, and a lot of the weapons are being normalized, I guess, to set a baseline so they can refine them as they go along. But that means that some of the complexity we have now will not always be here. I'm predicting, one last tour of space before the patch ruins everything forever. Yeah, so I just want, let me try to put this into a way that you would understand properly. Remember enhancement diversification? So basically it's just like that, and the effective equivalent of the no, I did not say combat. Oh, Devpa, how are you doing? There's a fellow I don't see in here very often. How are you doing on your end of the monitor? It would help if I aimed at the right target, wouldn't it? There we go. I am currently flying an Aegis Vanguard starship, a heavy fighter. The specific Vanguard is the Harbinger, which has a whole bunch of missiles. And ironically, I'm fighting a Vanguard, but this is the Warden, which is basically a fighter. It's all guns. Oh, and he's got friends. I hate having those kind of friends. Upgrade is a very subjective term. Yeah, what Davpo is referring to is a rather infamous, although not nearly as infamous as another expansion they did, in the old game Star Wars Galaxies, where they changed the combat system to use levels, kind of like your traditional MMO, which was not received. It was not received very well, but it was received a lot better than some of the other changes that were made later on, such as, say, I don't know, the quote-unquote new game enhancements, about which I will not go into right now because we really don't want to hear me spend a whole afternoon ranting about that. Is he dead? He looks... Oh, yeah, his cockpit's flying off. I guess he's dead. Received like a poop in the punch bowl. I will be upgraded to oblivion. But I think that's what they're going with this, though. The next patch is going to basically normalize this, and then succeeding patches, they're going to basically put in but you would think of it from City of Heroes like putting in the invention system. So, you know, it rebalances everything. Hopefully it will not be like the NGE. About which the less said the better. Okay, for those who are coming in late and have not had a chance to see, this is the Vanguard baseline look. So hopeful. Yeah, well, you know, I got faith. If nothing else, I just chant to myself, this is an alpha. This is an alpha. This is an alpha. This is fine. Flames were in the background. Won't be like that. I was really hoping that 3.14 would have landed because I really wanted to go and fiddle around on the new landing zone of Orison, which is basically Cloud City. Basically, it's landing zone in the gas giant of Crusader. Sadly, however, 3.14 did not land. It's still on the public test universe, so still waiting. But of course, the fact that it's still on the public test universe means the combat system has not horribly screwed me over yet, so you get your good and you get your bad. I think we'll do one more very high-risk target, and then we'll do some first-person action. We'll have some variety in our work today. It's probably okay. It is just an alpha testing. Not like they launched the game and developed it live for years before revamping everything. Yeah, did we mention the NGE yet? Yeah, get the 3.14 Pi update soon. Well, you know what, Daffo, you've just completely screwed up my title for the next week. I was going to surprise everyone saying it's the Pi update, but you have preempted me. We think far too much alike. But 3.14 is, I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing it the next week. I think I've seen enough with the public test universe patches to feel that we're pretty close to going to live with it. I think in fact this weekend they're doing another test of one of their dynamic events, which is the Xenothreat event, which was pretty fun the first time around, and I'm hoping to be equally entertained the second time. They should have some improvements over the first time too, which will hopefully come into play. Yeah, it's definitely a little spoiler. Yeah, no big deal. Besides, it was either that or call it the City in the Clouds update. I could have gone either way. But I liked Pi. Okay, target has just popped in. Usually when you see the neutralize in the target name, you have to get in the vicinity. When you see neutralize with no name, that is the actual location of the target. He is flying another... I've gotten nothing but Vanguard Wardens today, except for the one Hurricane ship, which was a little nasty. No Valkyries. It's very surprising. I like Pi. All ship weapons will now launch Pies. You know, if I were doing an April Fool's patch, I would seriously consider that. Your missiles will now be firing whipped cream pies. That would be hilarious. I don't know if I'd want to have the devs bother with putting that kind of coding in, but I like the idea of it. I do concede that I'm easily amused. Now, what I'm trying to do is, you notice the crosshairs there, that is leading up there. The red means I'm not on target, the green means I am on target. I just have to get my crosshairs, the little crosshairs, aimed onto it. The big one, the one that's moving around, is basically my virtual joystick. Yes, Pi combat. Pi on Pi battles. The cake really is a lie. Go with the pie. I am having a little trouble. You would think that by flying this ship with all these missiles, that I would probably use more missiles. All I can say is, I'm a dogfighter at heart. But maybe this next guy, I see Cutlass Black? Cutlass Black? This guy's flying Drake trash? Okay. Now we've got to go after him. We do not tolerate Drake starships here. The Cutlass Black is developed by Drake Interplanetary, and they basically make garbage starships. Okay, perhaps it's not quite as bad as I make it sound. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course they're as bad as I'm making it sound. I have certain prejudices on that sort of thing. Pies can't damage the ships, but the pilots will give up in embarrassment. Well, you know, if they get their cockpit clobbered with pies, they have trouble seeing their targets. So you know what? I think there's a legitimate tactical use for green pies. I think they should implement that soon. Speaking of cake is a lie. Have you tried the newish fan sequel to Portal? Well, you know what? I'm gonna be upfront here. I never even played the original Portal. I mean, I've heard of it. And I mean, the thing was a meme for a while there. But I've never actually monkeyed with it. Or its sequel. In fact, I didn't even know there was a fan sequel. Drake forever. Yeah, I can always rely on Legend to sing the praises of Drake Interplanetary. If I were ever to pull the trigger here to go affiliate, you can be sure that my first emote would be "No Drake." But you know, that would require me to actually, you know, pull triggers. Cancels chorus. All right, let's do a little bit of groundwork. Let's see. Do I have anybody on the ground on any of these bounties? No, looks like they're all space targets. So we'll go to the evict illegal occupants. One of the things that some folks really don't appreciate about Star Citizen is that not only is it a space sim, it is also a ground sim. Kind of. Which means I can fly to the planet, go to this outpost, get out of my ship, take a bunch of guns, and start taking out the people inside of an outpost. So we're going to do a quick quantum travel to the planet of Hurston. Hurston is the closest planet to the star of Stanton, so it tends to be a little warmer there than elsewhere, but even though we are having that close proximity, it's still fairly temperate. You don't have to be wearing any of the specialized hot armors, shall we say. Or I should say cooling armors, because on some areas, if you were to go onto the moon and aerial, you would cook quickly, unless you had the specific suit. Portal is fun, but can be aggro with the complexity of puzzles. The fan sequel, Portal Reloaded, adds to your teleporting portal creation. Is a time portal creation. So the puzzles require you to teleport and affect things in time. It is fun, and it is free. Oh, you know, there's a key word right there. Free. I have occasionally had certain individuals constantly throwing games at me, so to speak, and some of them I just really don't go that into. I have enough trouble balancing the games I have now. Okay, I am 8 kilometers above the surface of Hurston. I am 20 kilometers out from my target destination. Fun fact here is that when you're going for a ground target, yeah, Legend is just trying to broaden my horizons. Well, you know, I do get to enjoy them vicariously by watching Legend stream. In fact, why don't I, oops, that's not what I want to do. Okay, I had some time, I can get away with this. Let's see if this thing will work like it's supposed to. Okay, I see that my bot is not working. Stupid bot. Grumble, 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 grumble. In fact, it looks like the bot isn't even operational. I swear to God, Streamlabs Cloud bot has been a pain in the butt lately. But Legend has been known to do some streaming on Twitch occasionally, and I've been watching a bit of that. He's been doing Arc a lot lately. So, yeah, stupid bot. Command fail. The bot is a lie. I see absolutely nothing wrong with any of those statements. Okay, you may have noticed that there's a couple hostiles down here. There are a pair of turrets guarding the bunker down here, and they are likely to hurt really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some more power into my front shields, which I really should have done a lot sooner, so that when I start going after these guys, I do not get turned into bits and pieces right away. Now, an earlier patch of the game, you couldn't actually target the turrets, so you had to eyeball these things. Yeah, thanks for the plug. Playing the stream this evening, if real life allows. Well, you know, I'll certainly have the time to watch, so... Okay, the hits are coming. I gotta get close, but I still gotta see my targets. But I'm firing these cannons. One down. Let's get a little altitude here and fly up. So far, my ship is not broken yet. Okay, wing around, wing around. Oh, nuts, there's 2 more turrets. They have 3 turrets. Oh, poor planning on my part. Now, the good news is that the Vanguard's guns are all center guns. Although one of them seems to be really, really... Oh, too low, too low, too low. Get some height, get some height. Swap out targets. And make the approach here. Why has Star Citizen been in development for so long? Well, the short answer is it is insanely complicated. There is a lot going on with this game. There's another target. Let's get him out of the way before he gets me out of the way. Oh, for heaven's sake, explode already. Ah, who's shooting at me? I thought I got them all. Okay, is a pretty well, money is, of course, always a part of everything. But the fact is, this is a pretty complex game. I mean, it's not just the space sim aspect, which is admittedly a big aspect, but I'm coming down too hard. Yeah, that was incomplete. It's got the ground element, it's got a trade, it's got multiple, well, it'll eventually have multiple star systems. Let's see if I'm going to make sure I'm not going to land on a box or something. Oh, and of course, what do? I start aiming myself to land on the box. I is not smart. Now, admittedly, money management in the game, as far as, you know, managing the money being brought in by pledges and all that, could probably be better. On the other hand, I've done all this dogfighting, played all these ships, and every ship in the game is at least as realized as what I've got right now here. And this is just a heavy fighter. We're not even talking about the big multi-ship boys with their multiple turrets. Got a sort of space station. Got the planet landing zones. Let's see. Weapons. I have no idea what weapons I'm carrying right now. Let's take a look. Okay, I've got a Gemini C-54. This is a submachine gun. I like it for those moments where I'm going along the lines of, oh, nuts! I'm gonna die! And then I have the P6LR sniper rifle, which is a nice long-range weapon. And you know what I noticed about my weapons? I noticed that I'm not carrying anywhere near enough ammo clips. Let me take a look at my armor here. Oh yeah, I've got the wrong kind of clips up here right now. I've got magazines for the P6LR, but good heavens, I don't need that many sniper rifle rounds. Let's swap these things out for C-54s. Now, another reason why everything is going so slowly is that they're also, yeah, pew, 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 click, click. Yeah, at that point, it's along the lines of, oh, damn, I'm screwed. But they're developing, in conjunction with Star Citizen, the single-player variant, Squadron 42. So there's some parallel development going here, although how parallel it is, it's hard to say. We keep reading that one of the reasons why Star Citizen, the persistent universe, is going slowly is because that they have more resources going into the Squadron 42. But since we never see any progress in Squadron 42, we have no way of knowing that's the case or not. So, you know, good times. I say with gritted teeth. I think that a lot of the naysayers will quiet down a bit if they would ever get Squadron 42 released. Don't count on that happening soon. And sometimes the back-end server decides to be a pain in the butt here and takes forever. Trust us and give us more money. Well, you know what? I can actually trust these guys because, you know, they have been delivering. They've been delivering. They put all those starships out for the pledge store. Well over 100 of them are now in-game, right now. In fact, you don't even have to buy a whole bunch of ships. I did a nice little series and you can find them on my YouTube channel. I did a nice little series where I basically took the starter ship, an Aurora MR, the cheapest package you can buy in the game for $45, and I was able to earn enough money to get a Cutlass Black, which is a medium-sized, multi-cruise ship. And for a good chunk of that, I was renting a larger ship. Yes, you can even rent starships. You don't even have to buy them in-game. You can also rent them to help my nest egg considerably. Okay, my weapons are all set. I'm going to make sure that I have med pens equipped, because the last thing I want to do is get shot and find out that my medical supplies are not working. Let's swap out the guns. There we go. 200 spare rounds in addition to the 50 I've got in my clip. It seems that they're trying to stuff too much for opening instead of working on solid and having expansions quickly. I can't really disagree with that, Dav. I really can't. Cyberpunk half-assed it, they worked out fine. You may want to rethink that worked out fine part. I've read and heard about all kinds of problems that Cyberpunk had at its launch. It was literally having to refund money. I mean, I haven't seen that sort of thing since the days of the NGE, when they were selling the Trials of Obi-Wan, and then the day after they went live with it, oh, we're having an NGE and crashing everything. So we're talking some really epic screw-ups there. Just kidding about the Cyberpunk thing, yeah. Cyberpunk is 1/10 the game. Yeah, I can't really speak for Cyberpunk. I never picked that up. If it ever goes on a really cheap sale, maybe I'll look into it, but it's not exactly a priority with me. Oh, right. We are in the bunker now, so I'm going to kind of go low here. I'm pretty sure I've got a suppressor on here, so my sniper shot should be nice, quiet, and stealthy, which means when I take down a target, I won't wake up everybody in the bloody bunker. At least that's the theory. Now, usually I would try to do this. Oops, there's a guy that... I'm having trouble with this. Oh, come on, didn't I... Okay, so not only is my scope not cooperating... Okay, time to abandon subtlety. Screw subtle. Not enough punk or not enough cyber for being lost and not being cyberpunk enough. It was a reskinned Grand Theft Auto without the best parts. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to retreat back here temporarily. Hope that nobody comes out looking for me. And I'm going to swap out the scope. I'm currently using a 16x scope, which is roughly 4 times more than I need. Okay, let's see if the scope will work any better now. Oh yeah, much better. Now these guys are probably already at alert. I mean, if they fail to hear all that submachine gun fire, they've got something very wrong. Not enough punk. Do you feel lucky, punk? Do ya? Now, the goal in this mission is to kill off all 8 hostiles. The problem, of course, is locating said hostiles and getting them before they get you. Speaking of getting them, and that is why I love sniper rifles. Oh, there's another guy all the way over there. The AI, incidentally, still needs some work. I mean, this is basically kind of similar to your standard WoW MMO, where they've got aggro reasons. Let's see if I can take out anybody else down below. Not from here. Oh, what was that? Oh, there's a guy running around down there. That's not good. I did throw a laser sight on the bottom of this. Space Magic Silence Sniper. Yeah. Now, they also have a different attachment I could use. That would be a veil suppressor, where I would suppress the flash of the sniper rifle, which is more useful in a PvP kind of situation, I would imagine. I have a feeling I'm going to have to end up going to the submachine gun again a lot sooner than I want to. Because most of the guys are still active in here. And I usually prefer to have as many people killed off by sniper fire, because that way I reduce the odds of me ending up dead myself. Unfortunately, it's looking a lot like I'm going to have to go the crazy way. Let's refill the clip. I want a fresh clip here, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to round this corner and someone's going to be pointing a gun right at me. I am surprised. I am very surprised. Where are you? Oh, look! And he's got his back to me. Okay. Go back to my raw panic mode weapon. Oh, the tension. Arm yourself with spoons. Well, you know, spoons are not available, but knives are. On the other hand, this is not Doom or anything like that. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. There are 4 more targets. The fact that I have not seen them bothers me a lot. Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh, that's not good. Can I get an angle on the guy over there? Oh, I see you. I see you hiding behind the corner there. I wonder if I can get that good a shot on him. Well, that's not good. Now, this would be a situation that, yeah, 3rd one. Yeah. Just shot his juice in the backpack. No wonder he survived. Space knives cut ships in half. No, this isn't Star Wars. No lightsabers. Now, this would be a situation, we'll see. If it worked at the moment, this would be... Oh, how'd I miss you? Thank you, Dav. I completely missed him. It's a good thing that he has about the eyesight of a nearsighted man without glasses. Like Velma. Switch back to insane firing weapon. Now, if it would actually work, oh, here we go. That's the angle I want. That would have been a situation where if they worked, I would be using a grenade. Oh, he got back up. I hate it when that happens. They fall down, you think they're dead, then it turns out, no, I'm still kicking. And it gets back up when you have your back turned, and just like that, you're dead. That's really annoying. That guy around the corner. I want my grenade. Okay, fine. We'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way. Oh, back. And for the last guy who's hiding around that corner, mission accomplished. I see motion. I'm a T-Rex. Keeping that one a secret for later fun times. Now, there's a similar type of mission. It doesn't appear in the bounty area, but it appears in the... Well, it doesn't appear in the mercenary tab, but in the bounty hunting tab. Let's see if one's come up when I wasn't looking. No. But it would come up here, and it would take you into a cave system. No body loot? I didn't say that. 1 second here. Let's stow the gun. At the moment, what you can do, and this is very useful if you decide to engage in a life of crime, is take their guns. So I believe this is a shotgun. Let's inspect the thing, see if I got any info. A Castek Arms Ravager 212. I like crime. I thought you might, but I think you would be even happier as a bounty hunter. If I seem to recall you had certain predilections in that arena back in the day. But of course, being a bounty hunter puts... Well, then again, there's similar missions on the criminal side, too. If I recall correctly, this is a shotgun. Now, the downside, though, is once I'm out of ammo with it, I'm out of luck unless I have, you know, ammo clips. All space guns should have exposed power cables. Yeah, I don't know what the design philosophy on the Castek weapons are, but, you know, this does kind of give me a... I wonder if they're a subsidiary of Drake Interplanetary. You know, I'm suddenly wondering. Do they have their thumbs in hand weapons as well? Now, sometimes they don't really have any weapons you can grab off them. Sometimes they drop... Oh, no, it's all the way over here. I think that's just a simple submachine. No, that might be an assault rifle. Let's see. There are a lot of different kind of guns in the game here, some of which are more exotic than others. And I've gotten myself turned around, so I lost track of where I'm going. Here we are. I'm gonna drop that gun because one of the little limitations is the suit of armor I'm wearing, the spacesuit I'm wearing. Shoot a pipe that's venting something. Well, there are canisters that will explode if you shoot them. They do exist. They do exist. Now, as I was saying earlier about the crime thing, you can do criminal... Ooh, gee, I never turned off the engines. No wonder there's so much dust being blown around. Oops. But I've turned off the you can do crime as I try to get my brain shifted in the right direction again. You can hear the grinding noises. There are missions that you can do if you haven't, you know, closed off the opportunity by doing so much goody two-shoes stuff like I have. Let's get back on board. And once you do the criminal missions, you will gain something called crime status. And it's a dial that goes from 1 to 5. At crime stat 1, well, people don't like you anymore. They won't let you... They won't protect you in armistice zones. Turrets will shoot at you. But they won't go out of their way to send people after you. In crime stat 2, you're probably in roughly the same shape. But once you get to crime stat 3 or higher, that's when you go on the bounty board. Suddenly you become a potential target for players looking to get some money made. That's right. You do the crime, there are consequences. If they succeed in killing you in a bounty hunting mission, or if you get killed off by some security force, you will find yourself in the Klesher Rehabilitation Facility. Or as Feeney would call it, Space Jail. Sentences can be up to 12 hours, but could be as few as 15 minutes. The 12-hour thing sounds bad, but you can work it off. Is it an ops-in system or an automatic mechanic? It is an automatic mechanic. If you're doing criminal activity, you are, by definition, putting yourself in a position where people will come looking for you. And if they take you down, you end up in prison. Of course, prison's not exactly all that bad. like I said, you may have the 12-hour sentence, but you can work it off. You can do mining in the Klesher mines under there. You get some ore materials, and you'll be able to pay down the amount of time you have to serve. There are missions in the prison where you can repair oxygen kiosks. That'll take off large portions of your sentence. If you have friends on the outside, if you have friends who have the merits, there are ways to kind of arrange to have merits outside of prison, and some of them have been known to sell merits. So they would go into this menu here, the MO Trader. Now you see, I have no merits because usually, when you're freed from prison, any extra merits you have are taken away. But there is one other way of getting out of prison, and it's the time-honored method. You can break out. Yes, you can break out of Klesher Rehabilitation. It does require a lot of practice, an ability to handle Mario Brothers level jumping, and you'll need a friend on the outside to give you a lift out of there once you make it to the surface. And then, of course, once you've escaped, you'll have crime stat right away again, and you're a fugitive, and you will be hunted down. But I've been saying that a lot here with this thing. There is a but here. Let me rephrase that. There is an also here. A space file that can cut a ship in half in a cake. Not so much. No. What you can do is, once you have a crime stat, you do not have to live with the crime stat forever. If you are very clever, you can go to a security outpost. Like, say... Where is that? I'm pretty sure it was on the southern hemisphere. My focus is gone. The map here could use a little bit of work sometimes. Here we go. Security Depot, Hurston 1. If you go to the security depot, you can fight your way through the turrets and the guards, increasing your crime stat as you do, because, you know, who would have thunk that killing guards would make you more of a criminal? Who knew? And if you get to the security computer there, you can hack the computer and remove your crimes from your record, thereby reducing your crime stat. Fun fact is that once you remove a crime stat, remove a crime, you have to give it a reason. I almost always, inevitably, always choose mental incompetence. I'm clearly not mentally competent enough to do all these crimes. Now, I'm not gonna... I really shouldn't say anything here, but I find that usually I wind up with crime stat. Yeah, Legend saying we're all kinds of practiced in that, and what he's not saying is 9 times out of 10 when I wind up in prison, it's because I've tried to help out these criminals all the time. Hey, you need a ride breaking out of a Klesher and hacking security terminal? No problem. And that winds up getting me killed on an alarmingly regular basis. We're going to swap up ships here. I mean, if I'm going to have some folks watching the stream, I should at least show them some of the other ships that are lurking around that are interesting to be flying in. So we're going to go to Everest Harbor. Or, you know what? No. Let's make it, since we were speaking of, you know, what the heck are they spending all the money on this game on? Well, why don't we go to Lorville instead? Yeah, Legend's laughing because it's true. That said, I have been known to occasionally do a little bit of criminal activity myself. Oh wait, I'm going to Edmond. That's not Lorville. Ah! That's okay. Lorville's practically next door to Edmond. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. In any event, there have been times when Hurston Security has annoyed me by trying to scan my ship too many times to look for contraband, where I've gotten finally offended and started shooting them back. Or occasionally might have done a bit of strafing at security locations. Yeah, that's another thing that yeah, Legend is pointing out that I am a member of the Eternal Riders org. If you are interested in Star Citizen, you want to check us out. He's also got Discord, and ordinarily I would be able to go into my bot and put a link there, but unfortunately the stupid bot isn't freaking working. Yes, I'm ranting again. Let me see if I can kick it a few times and see if I can get it to pop back in. Oh, it is live again. So how about that? Let me try this then. Da 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 da. Prove it. There we go. Finally. Stupid bots. And this is why I'm not too concerned about Skynet going live, because if this is the best we can do, I am not impressed. Okay, looks like it's nighttime, so Orville is going to be very quiet. And really, you don't even have to join the Star Citizen org if you're interested in saying hello at Legends Discord. I believe that, yeah, the Discord link. Just stop in there. You can hear us basically go crazy on everything. And for a more Star Citizen point of view, we have a little Discord channel that is our adventure journal, which has all sorts of tales of our misadventures, shall we say. That's one way to put it. Let's move the camera a bit. Now, what I have in front of me there, well, a little off center, is the Hurston Dynamics building. A building that is so large that you can see it from the orbital space station of Everest Harbor. Yeah, the Adventure Journal is epic. Yeah, there are a lot of interesting tales to be found there. We've done all sorts of crazy PvE. We've had crazy PvP. We've had crazy criminal escapes. We've had crazy... Really, the word crazy kind of comes into play an awful lot. But there are some pretty nice things to see here, too. You'll notice that there's a glowing rectangle kind of in front of me, kind of dashed. That is giving me a general idea of where the spaceport is. Tisa Spaceport, to be specific. I'm increasing my speed probably faster than I should be, but... Oh, that's right. I should probably get my communications up. Ah, stupid communications are not up. The MFDs sometimes bug out here, and they don't allow me to bring up my communications channel, which means I'm going to have to make use of my mobiGlass, which is my wrist computer. Yeah, sadly, no Star Citizen nor computer that can really run it. And I'm right there with you, Fiendy. Until a couple years ago, I was in the exact same boat. Okay, mobiGlass, communications, Lorville Landing Services.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
There we go. And I should see a little down arrow there, right there. That's telling me where the landing bay is. Yeah, Star Citizen does kind of require some fairly muscular system specs. And the only reason I'm able to do this now is because when I bought this particular computer, I went out of my way to get a computer that was actually more expensive than I would ordinarily do. I tend to be kind of going with what can play the games I'm currently playing just fine. But I kind of went all out last time around, and okay, back off, level out. Now you can see sometimes I gotta go into third-person view here because I'm not really used to landing this one. But Lorville's landing pads are in these hangar bays. Oh, I should also drop a landing gear. It gets embarrassing if I bounce. Yeah, Legend's been streaming his Arc game in the Discord as well a lot lately, so although the quality of his streams in Discord are not nearly as good as the quality of his streams in Twitch. Landing is complete.
Package complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Okay, so we are now here at Lorville. And you know what? We'll take a quick run around just so that the folks can see what Lorville is. If I can get this ramp to close. There we go. I don't want the folks at the hangar control complaining. Uncapped the bitrate on the voice channels. Fixed it. Well, you know, as the saying goes, I will believe it when I see it. Piece of spaceport. If you leave your power on, or actually not so much power on, if you leave your engines running in a hangar bay, if you leave your ramp open or something like that, you can get fined for parking violations. And I can't tell you how many times I got fined before I finally figured out why I was having all these problems. I was speaking of rentals earlier. Here's one of the places where you could do so. You can rent anywhere from 1 day to 30 days. Ships ranging from as cheap as Aurora ES, which I don't recommend, for 2,500 approximately credits. Better luck would be going an Avenger Titan for 15,000. When I was doing my big Aurora MR challenge, where I wanted to prove that you could play the game and do everything in it just with the basic package, I was renting this baby, the RSI Constellation Andromeda, which was taking care of those very high-risk targets like lightning. Gotta run. Gotta do the in real life thing. Not a problem, Legend. You take it easy. I'll try to catch your stream tonight. See you eaten by dinosaurs. But, you know, it rents at 70,000 for a day. To put it in proper perspective, if you're taking those very high-risk targets, and to do this, I will go to my bounty board here. I can get 17,000 on a single target. So it would not be all that hard to make up that 70,000 and more in just a couple of hours. If you join the Discord server, it would be your 42nd server. The answer! The answer to the ultimate question, at last. The question was always, how many servers would Fiend need to join the Eternal Rider Org server? The answer is there. So, you know, you have access to a whole bunch of ships off the rentals.
We're sorry. You exceeded the allotted time to depart.
Yes, yes.
You'll have to return your ship to storage.
Now over here, the new deal, you can buy starships in-game.
Ship storage procedure.
Obviously, they're more expensive than renting,
Thank you for your cooperation.
but it can be done, and I have done it. There is no small number of ships in my fleet right now
Initiating ship storage.
that I've purchased in-game.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Not all of them. I will freely admit I have pledged a significant, more than I ever thought I would. Let's put it that way. I regret nothing. All the stuff I spent money on last year. Well, let me rephrase that. Last year I couldn't spend the money on most of the things I do ordinarily thanks to Mr. Pandemic. So the money ended up going somewhere else. Ta-da! Now, Lorville has a couple of interesting locations that are connected by a subway. So we're going to take a quick subway run to the Metro Center. And since I'm here, I don't need to be wearing my armor anymore. So let's look a little bit more classy, shall we? Okay, I'm looking far too classy for Lorville, but hey. But you know what? That is true. I am far too classy for Lorville right now. So why don't I go back into more personally traditional equipment? Oh, the train's arriving. Let's get them to train first before I start playing with clothing in Vista's train. Okay. Back to my equipment manager.
Step away from the platform edge when
Let me look like I'm more belonging to this area. There we go. This is looking more like me. No lore. Oh, there's plenty of... You want lore, you say? Stay tuned. I will show you the lore. Let's see. That reminds me. Do I still have... Wrong button. Here we are. The Invictus Flight Jacket. Man, if I told you how much I ranted last year about that jacket, because you could buy it in-game during the Invictus Flight Week, but the problem was there was a bug that whenever a patch landed, it wiped out certain chunks of your inventory, and I lost all my flight jackets. It drove me nuts. But this year's Invictus, anybody who intended to be Invictus got that put in their pledged stuff for free. So I will never lose this jacket again, which makes me happy. Now, as you can see, Lorville has that kind of industrial look. It's kind of a mining town sort of thing. And the air quality here is less than awesome. Got a nice little map here that tells you where everything is. M&V Bar is interesting because it has a contact you can go to and speak with, and he'll give you missions when he's working properly, which he's not right now. Tammany and Sons is the local outfitter. In fact, let's go there. They talk about L19 residences. If you die at some point, and the last place you were located was on Lorville, that's where you would spawn back in. Now, the interesting thing about Tammany and Sons is that while it has a fair amount of stuff you can buy, there is one very important thing that it does not sell. So let's hop inside briefly. It was a feature. You'll see we've got plenty of gear here. This is the Pembroke armor, which would allow me to survive on extremely high temperature moons. Got a not sure what that. Okay, the rucksack core that allows you to carry stuff in a backpack, and various types of undersuits and armor. Got certain level kind of utilitarian clothing here. Looks like these are all the pants. Okay, jackets are back here. Oh, those are the shirts. These are the jackets. But the one thing that Tammany and Sons does not carry, it does not carry guns. And there's a very good reason for that. Well, actually, yes, kind of. It doesn't have Fritos, but it does have these very yummy ready meal beef chunks. Or if you're not that kind of person, you can have the Karobi energy bars. Cranberry. You can also buy some water, because starvation and dehydration are things in the game. But as you can see, I'm doing just fine right now. Well, then again, I can't really tell because I'm not wearing my armor that monitors these things. Oops. But there are no guns sold here. And that's because, well, Lorville, while it has all these workers, they're working in this highly polluted environment. Spaceberry. This is space. Spaceberry. Well, no, technically we're on a planet right now, so technically we can get away with it. Now, if I were at Everest Harbor on a space station, then we could call it Spaceberries. Yes, I am living off of a technicality here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the Central Line train station. You were asking about lore earlier. We can give you lore. We can give you lore. At any rate, highly polluted, highly harsh working conditions. Treat your workers like dirt. Do you really want guns to be readily available to the people you're oppressing? Thus, no guns here. Don't worry, if you feel a need for guns, there are lots of other places in the Stanton system where you can do so. Workers, rise up! Yeet your chains! Well, you know, if there's any place that's primed for that sort of thing, Lorville is it. It is just not a friendly place to live. Take your space ferries for yourself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Central Business District, which is a somewhat higher class of location. Jonesy, how are you doing? How's life on your end of the monitor today? Haven't seen you drop by for a while. I am doing a quick and dirty tour, which when you think about it is the only kind of tour you can have in Lorville. Because there's nothing clean about Lorville. I mean, even the windows are smudged half the time. Although it's not bad on this one. Must be because I'm at the doors. If I go to the back, it's more... Well, I've seen worse. The central line must be cleaned a lot more than the line that goes to the spaceport. Doing some mining at Crew L1. Doing all good. Yeah, that's another aspect of the game that I haven't really shown very much on stream here. One of the other things that are worked on in the game, you can go mining. You can do mining on a planet or off of asteroids. You can mine by hand. You can mine by vehicle. You can mine by spaceship. In fact, if there's one gameplay loop that has gotten more stuff done than anything except for combat, it is mining. Okay, welcome to the Hurston Dynamics building. As you can see, the folks who own Hurston Dynamics are modest sorts of people. They don't go in for displays of being ostentatious or anything like that. They would never do anything so crass as to have huge statues of themselves built or anything. And once we go inside, bippity boppity bippity boppity, there's two major locations in here that's worth checking out. If I go left here, where it says transfers, that's where they have their trade terminals, where you can basically buy cargo, sell cargo at trade terminals. And Lorville is one of the major consumers of trade goods. Just got your first batch into the refiner. Big batch of borates and laranite. Some relatively high-selling ores that you can refine at a refinery, and then, once you got them refined, sell them at places like this. And you'll notice over here on the side that we have nice little advertising stuff about Hurston Dynamics. Growth. From its inception, Hurston Dynamics has eagerly adapted and changed to overcome all challenges, rising to meet the demands of the modern world, while never forgetting the proud heritage and family traditions that were instrumental to their unprecedented success. Yeah, you're modest. You only built your statue to 25 feet tall. Yeah, they're just really out there. And over here are the trade terminals. The only thing you can buy at Lorville, I think, is scrap metal, which doesn't sell very many places. But, you know, maybe we will, just to do a trip over there. Let's see, is it back here I want to go? No, it must be elsewhere. Went the wrong way. Before I do, though, let me fill up some cargo. It's not going to get me a whole lot of profit because trading is borked right now. Last batch was 16 standard cargo units of laranite, sold for 42,000. Pretty respectable. Scrap metal sells for 1.36 UEC, so I want to buy 93,000 worth. And I will be lucky to make 100,000 off of it in profit, I'm sure. Because scrap metal is, well, scrap metal. That'll be our next stop. Let's see. Go back out this way. I'm pretty sure it's not over in the showcase, so I'm going to go back here. Family. Tracing their lineage back for over 15 generations, Hurston Dynamics is one of the longest continuously operating family businesses in the Empire today. Yeah, for those who are unaware, the main setting here is headed over by the United Empire of Earth, which is not as imperial as it sounds. Even though there is an imperator, there is recently an elections to elect the current imperator. Solomon Hurston is the founder of Hurston Dynamics. It was his remarkable vision and unshakable dedication to family that has continued to be the backbone for Hurston's corporate ethos and an ongoing source of inspiration for all future generations. Okay, I guess where I want to go is in the other room then. I really thought it was out here. Because I know there was a nice little family history or a corporate history somewhere. I just don't remember where exactly it is. Now, Hurston Dynamics made their money the old-fashioned way. Guns. And when I say guns, we're not talking handguns. We're talking the kind of guns you put on starships. And they are known here as the attrition and dominance guns. Big, bad, and nasty. I'm still bugged by the fact that I don't know where the heck they hid the lore plates. I know they're here. I've seen them. I've read them. So where the heck are they hiding? I am a tad annoyed. Oh, maybe it's down here. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You wanted lore? I got your lore right here. Also, it's creation of the life work contract for quote-unquote employees. Yes, definitely the reason why you don't see very many handguns. We've got a nice little bit of lore from 2438 to 2794. Now, it's currently 2951 in game, so we seem to be missing about a couple hundred years worth. I guess that's what they're making room for this. Making room for future stuff over here. But this is basically the history of Hurston Dynamics, which includes Hurston Dynamics actually purchasing the world of Hurston. That's right. Hurston Dynamics is so freaking rich, they bought this planet. In fact, every planet in the Stanton system is owned by a mega corporation. Microtech, ArcCore, and Crusader Industries are the other mega corporations owning such vast territory. And they bought them for reasons, of course. They were able to buy them from the United Empire of Earth because of some financial issue. I can't recall the details. Ah, I missed the train. I was too slow. Curse my metal body. On the other hand, the next one's only 10 seconds out, which means that other train better get on the other track fast.
Stand by and let passengers disembark before boarding.
And open sesame. We're going to head back to the spaceport, and we're going to get that scrap metal somewhere where I can sell it. And there are, I think, 2 places that come immediately to mind. And one of them, I think we're going to go to the one that's out of system, shall we say? In fact, we're going to go to a location whose days are numbered. Port Olisar. Port Olisar is widely believed to be on the way out, shall we say. It's currently the major landing zone of Crusader, but once Orison comes in, hopefully sometime next week, Olisar will no longer be the focus of the Crusader area. Instead, it will be worsened. And it's been long rumored that once that happens, they're going to get rid of Port Olisar. And I have a sneaking suspicion that we are going to be watching the destruction of Port Olisar during a special event at some point. Just a suspicion. I have no proof. But I feel pretty confident in my guess. Now, personally, I hate to see it go at all because it's been with the game almost since the beginning, I think. At some Port Olisar is going to get nixed. Well, you know, that's the rumor that at some point in time, that's going to happen. That they're going to remove it. I can understand their thinking. It's kind of old. But I feel that as a location, it has everything that a newer player would like. If they would just fix the landing pads to be hangars, I think it would be a great starting location again. Right now, it's not a great starting location because there are some jerks out there who like to blow up ships sitting on landing pads for the giggles. I find that kind of thing offensive, personally. Now, I loaded my cargo onto a specific ship. The Crusader C2 Hercules Starlifter. So that is the ship we're going to go. If any of y'all got a hammerhead, I'm game to help with the breakdown. Well, my suspicion, and again, this is based on nothing but pure air on my part, but I do know that they are planning an event called the Nine Tails Lockdown. The Nine Tails pirate group operates out of the Crusader area, and yes, I do indeed. I was paying attention to the hangar number. And if they're going to be doing a blockade of a station, there's only one station that's really worth the effort around Crusader. They're not going to blockade Grim Hex. They want to blockade Port Olisar. Hercules Starlifter, usually designed to carry vehicles like tanks or anti-aircraft platforms. But it's a side benefit. If it has space enough to carry those big vehicles, it's also got space to carry plenty of cargo. And Prospector killed you again. Are you being beaten up by a solo mining vessel? Your own solo mining vessel? That's just wrong. Was it getting out of the seat? I bet you it was getting out of the seat. Now here at the lower deck... Well, yeah, my sympathies, Jonesy. Here on the lower deck, as you can see, I have my heaps and heaps and heaps of scrap metal all in their little containers. Unfortunately, right now, they've kind of busted the collision on the containers, so I can actually walk through them. I'm not supposed to be able to do that. In fact, I wasn't able to until very recently, so, you know, this is a bug that needs to be fixed. Since I'm getting ready to go out into space again, maybe I should put my spacesuit back on. Otherwise, you know, lack of oxygen, choke, die, you know, that kind of thing is really inconvenient. Keep being punted into the roof, getting into the ship. Now, that's a weird one. I mean, I've seen that kind of thing off of the Aurora on any number of occasions. On occasions too numerous to mention. Let's go up the ladder here. But now, admittedly, it's been a while since I've used my Prospector, so... Here's the secondary deck of the Hercules. Han Solo didn't need a spacesuit. Yeah, well, you know what? He happened to be in a breathing... One time he might have needed it. He was inside of a breathing entity that generated his own oxygen, effectively. And even then he had a breath mask on at that point. I have no idea why he didn't, you know, instantly face it walking around inside that space room, honestly. I really don't need to be wearing an armor suit right now, except for one tiny detail. Since we're on the subject of bugs, there's a current bug that theoretically has been fixed, that when you sit in the cockpit, you suddenly are no longer breathing your oxygen. You're having to use the oxygen in your suit. So if I weren't wearing my spacesuit right now, I'd start suffocating right now. That would suck. This ship is gorgeous, and it is true. The Starlifter has a design that the Crusader Industries folks, they really have a design language for their ships. You do, but you don't suffocate from it. Really? Huh. I just kind of assumed that if my oxygen was going down in my spacesuit because I wasn't getting air, that I would have problems otherwise. But I appear to be wrong, which has been known to happen on an alarmingly regular basis. Let me change my MFD to communications and ask the landing services to open that hangar door. Okay, folks at Hurston, I see that we're going to have a little chat again. Why are you not opening the door? There we go. Just another reason why one day, whenever they get rid of the armistice zones that prevent me from using my handguns here, I will hunt down the people who operate these hangars and shoot them. It seems like an oversight, not having a pressurized cockpit. Well, you know, that's a bug. It is a bug. It didn't used to be that way. It was introduced with the last patch. The patch, I believe, coming next week, should fix that. I like the C-130 look. Shoot the door. Well, you know, if I could tilt this thing up high enough to shoot it, I would. Except I'm in an armistice zone, so I can't use my weapons. You see up here in the upper right-hand corner? If you see the circle slash with a bullet, you are in an armistice zone. That means you cannot use your weapons.
Launch complete.
So we're going to take on off and start taking the climb. I will raise up my landing gear and turn off the VTOLs. That big building there, that was where we were at the trade. That's where the trade terminals were. Rules are for the passive. Yeah, well, you know, I keep trying to pull the trigger and nothing happens, so, you know, in a very real way, it is passive. Or, if you look at it a different way, they're being very active on making sure you have to be passive. Someday, however, someday in the indeterminate future, armistice zones will go bye-bye, and the only thing enforcing the rule of law will be the guards. No timeline as to when that'll happen. Okay, I am 11 kilometers above, which is 2 kilometers more than I need to be to start tracing my route off Hurston, and we're going to go to the other side of the sun, so to speak, to Crusader and Port Olisar. We're going to spin up my quantum drive, which is not quite the speed of light. It is a percentage of it, but it does cross larger distances, like, you know, millions of kilometers, in a relatively short period of time. No, it will not be in the next update. No. I think we've got a ways to go on that. And we'll get the calibrate. There's two timers here. There's a spooling up timer and there's a calibration timer. Once they're both at ready and complete, you can make your jump, and boom, quantum traveling. Where Hurston gets left behind in the dust. And we head towards the gas giant of Crusader, which is owned by the folks who made this ship, Crusader Industries. In fact, when Orison gets put in, we will be able to see some of where they do their work. From what I've seen on other streams, you will be able to see one of the C2 Hercules ships being built. That would be the Bespin place, yes. Although I can guarantee you, it looks nothing like Cloud City. The city in the clouds it may be, but they have a slightly different design philosophy. But I will say this, it looks pretty cool. Next week, man. Hopefully next week, 3.14 will have landed, and I'll show everybody on my stream what it looks like. Or, you know, you can watch other Star Citizen streamers who are far better and more frequent streamers than me show you what's in the public test universe right now. Half the reason I don't do that is because I don't have the hard drive space on my SSD to handle another instance of Star Citizen. Plus, you know, why spoil the surprise for myself? Plus, the public test universe is usually tends to be an even buggier mess than the live universe here. So, you have to take good with bad. We are 12 million kilometers away and closing. At one point, I'd put one of my better quantum drives on the ship. Depending on the quantum drive you install, you can either be highly fuel efficient, you could spool up faster, or calibrate faster, or you could, well, do the quantum travel faster. And I chose for this ship to quantum travel faster, because if you're doing cargo hauling, you really don't want to be spending a lot of time in travel. You want to be able to get in and out, sell your goods, and all is well in Mudville. Let's see, if I were a smart man. Of course, I can't do that yet because I'm not in the ComSat range. A little explanation on what I just said there. It always bothered me that Cloud City combined these gases and just happen to have an atmospheric band of nitrogen-oxygen mix to allow balconies. Well, you know, I have no idea what the nitrogen-oxygen mix here at the Crusader is, but apparently at some elevation or at some band, somewhere around there, it is habitable. You will be able to breathe. It's open doors. But I couldn't tell you the details on that. I don't even think that the developers know. Unfortunately, I seem to have come here and things have rotated to the point where... Okay, there we go. Port Olisar lies ahead. A mere 18,000 kilometers away. We may have a problem, though. I don't see a ComSat symbol up. And that's a bad sign, because that means somebody's taking down a communication satellite. And those communication satellites are some of the reasons why criminals get their crime stat. If there's no satellite up, that means they can pretty much slaughter to their heart's content. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to trust in my shields. Maybe when I get to Olisar, I'll get in range or something. Oh, there we go. Comlink established. And you can see up here we have a little satellite there. That indicates that we are in ComSat range. Criminal activities are detected. They will apply. So, this is Port Olisar. One of the two most unique stations in the Stanton system. We might wrap things up in the other unique location momentarily, but first I want to sell this scrap off. Now see, this is the one thing that I wish Star Wars Galaxies pulled off way back in the day. You can fly your ship, you can get out of your ship, you can walk around your ship, you can walk out of your ship. You don't have any instancing happening whatsoever. Oops. Yeah, we're a little front heavy sometimes.
Landing complete.
There we go.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Engines off.
Now, whenever I'm on a landing pad, I do not turn off the power to the ship. I shut off the engines, but I do not turn off the power. Because I am exposed. I am out here exposed to anybody flying by, and if some criminal decides that he wants to take pot shots, the last thing I want him to be able to do is hit my unprotected hull. I want him to work for it. So he'll have to go through my shields as well as my hull. Now that said, if they're determined, they'll get through. I'm going to go out the front ramp. This is where you would load vehicles in. There's also a similar ramp in the back too, but this one's the cooler one. It's big enough to handle 2 tanks, or alternatively, a whole bunch of smaller vehicles. Let's see, can I reach far? You would think that I would have a key button thing that I could just press on my hand to open and close the doors. I mean, I can do that with my cars today. You would think they would have that kind of technology for your starships. Someday. I think it's on the hit list of things to do with the mobiGlas one day. But obviously, today is not that day. Now, the space station in Port Olisar literally does have all the amenities. It used to be a starting zone. So if you were a new player, you would wind up here, cycle through the airlocks, and yeah, they have everything. They've got, we were talking about the weapons that you couldn't find at Hurston.
Hi. Thanks for coming in.
We have handguns here. And rifles. But not some of the more nasty stuff. Still, though, it's certainly good enough for a starting player to buy a couple things and start doing those ground first-person shooting missions just nicely. You got the Garrity Defense, which is the other side, and they're the ones who sell armor. Again, fairly basic stuff, but again, if it's a starting area. Even if it's not really a starting area anymore, because problems. Go to the other side of the station. You can find the Dumper's Depot, which is where you would buy ship equipment. And over here, you have Kasaba, where you can buy clothing. Although not necessarily all the clothing. The nice thing about the game is some things you have to buy at specific locations. And over here we have a trade terminal where I should be able to sell off all the scrap I hauled in here. Hopefully I'll be able to sell it all. Oh, I actually made pretty good profit here. Close to 30,000. Admittedly, I had to risk a 90. I had to risk a heap to get there. But I got it. So we will take one more hop. I said 2 unique space stations, so I feel the need to go to the space. Oh, and I even have a ship already here that's smaller. Let's take the smaller ship. You'll notice that some of my ships have a -2 next to them. There's a bug in the game. I know it's a shock, isn't it? A bug in Star Citizen? Who would have thunk it? But there's a bug in the game that occasionally duplicates starships. So occasionally you find that you might actually have more ships than you think you have. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Say it ain't so! Say it ain't so! Well, you know, as I've said on many a stream for this game, and I will always say it until it gets to the point where it's not true. And that ain't happening anytime soon. Star Citizen has more bugs than a Starship Troopers movie. That should kind of say it all. And if you get involved in this game, you need to be aware of that. If you spend any money on this game without being aware of that, then you really have done something foolish. childish. But if you are willing to accept all the warts, it's pretty fun to play. I mean, God knows I've been doing this for about over a year and a half now. And despite its limits, I'm still having fun. And I feel that it's improving every time a new patch comes out. Granted, it also breaks a number of things when every patch comes out too, but you know, you take the good, you take the bad. It does have nice visuals. Yeah, there's one thing that Star Citizen's got. It looks good. And I haven't even shown you the really impressive looking planets like Microtech and ArcCore. ArcCore is basically kind of a blend between Cyberpunk and Coruscant. And Microtech makes me think of what would happen if Apple and Google had a baby. Now, the Aegis Avengers series always reminds me of the Space Shuttle. I mean, it just has that look to it to me. When I look at it, I think the old Space Shuttle, Columbia, Discovery, Challenger, and all that. That's what I think of.
Thank you. Please visit again.
This one's particularly a courier vessel. More like if Apple and Microsoft had a baby. Maybe. They're in the same general category, though. This is a courier vessel. It's good for box deliveries. A lot of people say this is the best. Every update, there's a chance the elevators won't work. Or worse yet, they'll be intermittent working. This vessel is a courier vessel. People have called it the best starter ship in the game, and they're probably not wrong. But it is a little more expensive than the cheapest ships in the game. The package, I think, would be a $60 package as opposed to $45. But it's pretty decently armed for its size. Can handle cargo. Can do good box delivery missions. It's pretty good. Where I'm going right now is to the moon of Yela, which is a nice location. I like it because it's a rare example of a moon that has a ring. That's right. We have ringed moons here. But that's not the most interesting thing about Yela. No. What the most interesting blah, 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 blah. As my lips and tongue decide, we're not going to cooperate with you anymore. We don't care if you're live on stream. Let's try this again. Yela has the distinction of being the home of the most wretched hive of scum and villainy that you will find in the Stanton system. Grim Hex. Technically, it was once upon a time known as Green Imperial Housing Exchange, but the UEE kind of abandoned it at one point, and the criminal element moved in. And they moved in hard. And it's such a mess that it is now simply known as Grim Hex, which is a far more appropriate name for this sort of location. It is literally a base carved into asteroids. Well, one asteroid in specific. I'm not entirely sure what those other asteroids are connected to it by the cabling. Yeah, you may have noticed they have a little trouble with their communication systems too. Let's see if I can get my communications NFT working here. Good. You'll notice that right now, even this close to the station, there is not an armistice zone. There is no ComSat, which means you can kill people freely around here with no fear of consequence. Well, unless they kill you, of course. But we're going to take a little walk through some of the highlights of Grim Hex. Get myself a little closer before I land. As I am in a hangar with a door, I am happy to close it. A new coating, Love merged Star Citizen with the setting of Star Frontiers. Good God, I thought I was the only person alive who remembers that game. I loved Star Frontiers. It was my first RPG. First tabletop RPG for me, right there. Always, always, always will be a fan of Star Frontiers. Even if its game mechanics were iffy. But the setting, the game, the idea of it, loved it. I'm not even going to bother closing the ramp. I'm going to store the ship before they get a chance to start giving me parking violations. And honestly, the folks here have no call to do parking violations. This lawless location, seriously? They don't enforce a law here? What's wrong with them? You will note, however, that even though this is a lawless area, it is still an armistice zone. We still have that / bullet in the upper right-hand corner, which means I cannot shoot somebody at random in here. For a while, you were able to punch people, but I guess someone decided that was causing too many problems, so they stopped that. Okay, let's store the ship so I don't have to worry about anybody complaining later. And then, let's go into the guts of Grim Hex. Space clouds are rubber banding. I hope you're talking about the PTU space clouds. Because I'm pretty sure that's the only place the space clouds are right now. PU? They're in the... Really? There aren't many... well, that's worrisome. Maybe your server's getting ready to die. We've got a bar and grill here, and you know, it looks kind of grungy. You want to find that... Oh, the nebulas. Well, yeah, that's kind of worrisome. They do tend to be taxing on the graphics card. You can actually buy drinks from the bartender, but the trick here is that you have to be really patient. They've done a great deal of work on the bartender tech where he'll wander around, he'll serve people, he'll mix you drinks, clean up, that sort of thing. But the problem is it takes him forever to acknowledge that you're standing there, and then even longer for him to actually get you your drink, so... Clearly, they need to do some optimization there. Does this not look like a place that's a complete garbage heap? Now, earlier I spoke of crypto keys. Well, I spoke of hacking. Let me rephrase that. I spoke of hacking your crime stat away. The way you would do that is you would buy these crypto keys here, and you would insert them into the computer terminal, and that would allow you to break in and start accessing their computer systems. Open back up. I didn't see it close. So that's the major place where you can buy the crypto keys. You can also buy them at, strangely enough, Microtech for different reasons. Now, if we go in the back section here, somewhere along the line, they're going to be having racing, space racing back here. And you can see they've already got stuff set up for it. But unfortunately, they haven't been able to get that tech to work yet. Story of the game's life right there. And presumably you'd be able to see some of the action out from here. And one of the things I like about this section the most is you can grab yourself a bottle of beer here. Chilling in the ice water. I just happen to like that. And I would be remiss if I did not take a quick stop over here. This is Scudder's. And this is the combination... Well, this is basically the supply shop, minus the starship supplies, for Grim Hex. And you can get some very interesting looking armor here. Got your one with a cape here, you've got your almost classic Star-Lord kind of helmet. Well, not classic, neo-classic. Got something that looks like he'd be out of the Star Wars bounty hunter. Oh, no, I'm not buying that stuff. Get away. Including some rather frightening-looking helmets. And I mean, seriously, look at that thing. It's haunting. You can buy more of those yummy bars, including cranberry, green tea, and something else. Tahini and carob. And of course, you have ready meals, chicken dinner, bean and rice burrito, and chicken patty noodles. Yum. But more importantly, you can buy some of the more entertaining weapons here. This is where I could pick up my P6. Well, this is an assault rifle I like to use a lot. Over here is my here's where you would get your P6LR. There's the shotgun from Gemini. I'm pretty sure if I looked hard enough, I'd find some. Oh, large machine gun or long machine gun. I'm not entirely sure which it is. Yellow stands for something that I always get wrong. But this baby is scary. Lightning guns. If you want to fire lightning at people. Technically it's electrons, but you know. Rail guns, which are capable of taking out vehicles, including some small ships. There's my C-54 submachine gun. And I believe somewhere around here, and unfortunately it's not on the wall, but you can even buy a portable missile launcher for when you really want to get rid of your targets. All right, and I think that will about do it today. We are past the 3 o'clock hour. It works well enough on a cutlass. Well, you know, that depends on if the shields are up or not, and how good the shields are. I've had issues. It is past the 3 o'clock hour, which means it is time for me to bring an end to the stream tonight. Tonight. It's one of those, depending on where you are in the world right now. There we go. How's that for a nice save? Yeah, the railgun. Yeah, I've occasionally had issues with those. Somewhere along the line, I'll get them figured out, but it hasn't happened yet. I will be again streaming next Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I hope that 3.14 will have landed by then, and we will be able to take a trip through the clouds at Orison. I also stream on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, where I stream Star Trek Online. So if you have an interest in seeing the Final Frontier in MMO form, feel free to stop by and say hello. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, whether you're watching this live or catching it on the video on demand at my YouTube channel, which is conveniently linked somewhere on my About page. Thank you all very much. This is Korith Landwalker, signing off.